Hi, I'm Brooke, and I'm so excited to welcome you to Beam Boldly. As an NCAA Division I gymnast, I know firsthand what it feels like to carry the weight of performance, expectations, and identity. Here, we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about mental health, performance anxiety, NIL, resilience, and of course, how faith is our foundation that carries us through all of that. Whether it's stepping onto the beam in competition or just stepping out in everyday life, we are called to live boldly, and we're called to let our light shine. The name Beam Boldly was inspired by the verse Matthew 5:16, which says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." To me, that's what this podcast is all about. So if you're ready to hear raw conversations, find strength in faith, and be reminded that you are never walking this journey by yourself, join me as we step boldly into everyday life. Hey you guys, welcome back to another episode of Beam Boldly. Today we've got two very special guests, and they're not gymnasts, but they are managers for gymnastics teams. So we've got Cameron Mathis, who is also known as the Camager. You may have seen him for his viral videos. He knows all of our floor routines. So welcome, Cam. We're so excited to have you on Beam Boldly.
Hi.
And then we've also got Peyton, and Peyton is a manager for the UF gymnastics team. She's got a super cool story, and I'm really excited for her to share it. So welcome, Peyton.
Hi, thank you.
Yes, I'm so excited. You guys make meet days happen, honestly. You guys make practice and meet days happen, but your stories are amazing. And I was like, you guys would be awesome to have on Beam Boldly, because I want to give y'all a chance to share like who you really are and just the things that you've gone through, because you guys add to, the team culture of the teams you're part of, whether you're part of UF or Georgia. So yeah, I would love to just start by hearing how each of you became a manager. It's kind of a unique position. Peyton, do you want to start us off?
Sure, I would love to. So I grew up doing gymnastics from the age of 2 until halfway through high school. I quit due to just like injuries and wanting to focus more on different things in life, but I stayed in the sport. I took up coaching. Did recreational coaching as well as team coaching. So then I got accepted to the University of Florida in February of 2022. And I just reached out to Coach Jenny Rowland and I was like, hey, is there anything that I can possibly do to help the program? I didn't know a manager role was a thing at the time. I was
Oh, wow.
totally disassociated from college gymnastics a little bit. So I just reached out. I was like, hey, is there anything that's available? I love to help. I have a serving heart. And 2 weeks later, I went and had an interview in March with them and accepted the position and started that August.
That is so cool. That's so funny that you didn't even know it was like an option, but you were just like, I love gymnastics and I want to like see what opportunities there are here. And look at you now. You're on year 4? Year 4. Wow. That's awesome. So cool. All right, Cam. I already know the story, but tell the people how you became the Camager.
So I think I have a little bit of a unique perspective only because I didn't know anything about gymnastics prior to coming to college. So I grew up playing everything like everybody else did, and I'm a really competitive person, like by nature. So I quit sports actually before high school, so I didn't do anything athletically in high school. I just worked, and then I came to Georgia. I only applied to SEC schools because I knew I wanted a place with sports, and I knew like this is the type of environment that I want to be in. And like Peyton said, I also have a serving heart, so I eventually reached out and I was like, I want to do something with this. So I actually went to all the gymnastics meets last year, initially because my sister goes to Auburn and she was like, you have to go to a gymnastics meet. They're so much fun. So I went and I fell in love with it. I was like, how do these athletes do what they do? Like the team culture that I saw, there was just a fire in it that I've never seen before. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. So then over the following summer, prior to this current school year, after my freshman year, I actually DM'd on Instagram Nyla Aquino. And I was like, hey, like if you guys ever need help, let me know. Like I don't really know who to reach out to or how to go about this, but I really want to be involved. And she gave me the right contact. A few days later, similar to Peyton, I had an interview. And then a few days later, I accepted the position. Here we are.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cam, I think you forgot a very important part of this. Is it true that you actually got in like a dance battle with Nyla Aquino at one of our meets last year? You were dancing with her, right?
Okay, so I wouldn't call it a dance battle, but
Okay,
after
okay.
one of the meets, I was like super fan of everybody, but like Nyla in particular, I was like, wow, this girl's energy is like amazing. Like I wish I was her. So I went down to the bottom of the bleachers and we kind of just jumped around because obviously I knew who she was. And eventually, since I had been to all of them, I think she kind of recognized my face maybe.
Mhm.
I went down to the bottom and like we got a picture and we're just jumping around and the whole everything. And it just made me love the sport even more. But yeah, haven't actually, maybe there has been a dance battle over this year, but not prior to getting the job.
Okay,
But
not
yeah.
prior. That is so funny. Well, also, you're on the Spike squad here at Georgia, so that kind of played
Yes.
a role in, like,
Yes.
you know, your
So
spirit, I guess.
yeah, so Spike Squad goes to all of the UGA sporting events, including gymnastics. So I think that's how she was able to maybe recognize me is because I
Mhm.
look a little goofy at sporting events, like I'm wearing pads and everything, and I like get so hype and I'm screaming all the time. So yeah, last year I was a fan, a part of the Spike Squad, and this year I had the privilege of being on the floor, and we're not done yet. We're still
We are
going.
not done yet. Well, by the time this is out, we
We're
probably
done.
are done. But at the time we're recording this, we're not done yet. We're
Yes.
going to Fort Worth in a couple weeks. So, yeah, well, awesome. I love that you guys both have, like, different stories, but what was it like kind of your first couple days being on the job as a manager? What was that like?
I was honestly pretty intimidated because I'm like, this is unique territory to me. I've never done something like this. And I'm like, how am I going to work with athletes? Like some of these are Olympians, like the coaching staff, everybody's an Olympian or like Cirque du Soleil or veteran. Like I'm working with very high profile people. And I'm like, how am I just going to blend in here? And then I walked in. The first thing I remember is Marissa, the assistant coach, came up and was like, bring it in. It's time for a hug. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is where I was meant to be. And immediately the girls like took me in, including you, Brooke, and it was just so fun because I was like, I just feel like I'm a part of the team, which was so cool. It was cool to
Yeah.
get into and like just blend in immediately, which I was not expecting.
Yeah. We could tell immediately that, like, your energy was gonna match our energy, and that's why it was, like, so easy for us to, like, just, like, invite you into our team and just, like,
Hmm.
mesh. But Peyton, what was it like for you? Obviously, you didn't even really know what a manager position was, so how was that, like, walking in the first couple days? What was that like?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Cam. Like, it was very intimidating. I was a freshman on campus, newly to college. Like, I was still trying to figure myself out. And then I'm entering a world full of Olympians, some of the greatest college athletes. I just remember walking in the door and them treating me so normal. And I was like, I have to act normal. And these people are like, Trinity Thomas is in front of me. And
Right.
I was like, I am so intimidated knowing that I'm surrounded by some of the best athletes in the world. I had no clue what my position was even going to be the first couple days. So trying to figure that out. But within days, I felt like it was a family. Like I took on vault and floor, and the vault and floor coach, Adrian Burdett, he like treated me like a daughter instantly. Like the hugs and just continuously
Aw.
asking how I was those first couple days, checking in on me. Jenny would like check in on me, ask if I needed to like come over for dinner or just like what would make me feel best with the team. And within days, they all felt like family to me. So,
That is so cool, and it's so special to, like, you guys obviously are not like on the team as an athlete, but it really is cool from your guys' perspective to see how our environments are really families and are really close. And so I love that you've both had great experiences with that family atmosphere, really like inviting you in. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, Peyton, I know you have a very special story because you actually beat cancer for those of you that aren't familiar with Peyton. So I would love for you just to walk us through that part of your life and share how your faith was a huge part of that.
yeah, absolutely. So, the whole world had shut down in 2020 due to COVID. And that December 9th of 2020, I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, which is a rare form of bone cancer. I actually found it. I was working at an ice skating rink in Charleston, South Carolina. I fell. I thought it was a broken tailbone, and I just kinda, like, blew it off because as athletes, you kinda wanna, like, see if it'll get better, so that was, like, my natural instinct was like, "Let's see if it gets better." 5 days later, more symptoms started showing up, so I went to the doctors. They pronounced it cancer. I started treatments January of 2021, and January of 2022, I was pronounced cancer-free.
Awesome.
So about 13 months after my diagnosis date, I was pronounced cancer-free, and I am officially, like, 4 years and a couple months now, but it was definitely the biggest struggle I've been through. I would say it was a struggle mentally more so than even physically. That first diagnosis was when I put my faith really far back.
Mm.
It was the why God questions started flowing out of me, like, "What did I do, God? Why did you choose me?" I went from being a multi-sport athlete to not even being able to get out of bed. What did I do? So I would say from December when I was diagnosed until November, so for about almost a year, I put my faith really far away from me, and I would ask people for prayers because, that's how you're gonna get through it, like, without God's help, I
Right.
wouldn't have gotten through it, but unfortunately, I was putting it so far aside, and then I had my God moment November 29th of 2021, where I was in the hospital for about 16 days at this point straight, and when I had a chest tube in, and I was going in the next morning for a surgery to get my chest tube removed and a new one put in, and I was supposed to have my colon removed as well. And I just remember crying out to the Lord, like, "Lord, help me. Like, I'm at my wit's end. I can't do this. Don't remove my colon. Please don't let my lungs fill up with fluid again. I'm going to pass away. Like, this is it." And my mom went to the chapel in the hospital that they had that day, and I just cried out for help. I went into the surgery, and I felt myself levitating above the hospital bed. I could see myself
Wow.
and the doctors below me, and I could hear my mom. And she wasn't saying anything out loud. She was sending these in text to my dad, but I could hear her. And she was like, "Peyton, please don't leave me." It's like, "I need you." And so then I came back out of surgery and I didn't have my colon removed. They were able to drain all the fluid out of my lungs. And since that moment, I was like, that was God. Like, wow. And that took the biggest leap of faith I needed. And since then, I've been dedicated to bettering myself and my faith.
Wow. I literally just got chills. That is incredible. Does telling that story literally ever get old? I feel like it would not.
No, I feel like I could tell that story over and over again because it simply feels so unreal. It feels like I would make that story up, but that's not even something you can make up.
Yeah.
Like, God is so evident in that story. It's great.
Wow. That's incredible. So, obviously, this time in your life was like full of change, right? Like, you went from literally working at an ice skating rink, being like multi-sport athlete, to thinking that you just had a broken tailbone to it actually being cancer. Like, I bet that moment of like, did you ever think, even for a second when you fell, like, "Oh, I have cancer"? Like, I'm guessing not.
Not at all. And honestly,
Yeah.
with alcohol, I don't know how long it would have taken for me to realize I had cancer. So it's kind of a blessing
Mhm.
in disguise.
Yeah, for sure. Totally a blessing in disguise, but also, like, I can't imagine just, like, the shock you were kind of in of like, "Whoa, I thought I just fell. Now I have cancer, and now I'm, like, literally battling this, like, really rare form of cancer," to then overcoming it, and now, being in college, you're about to be a grad student, right?
Yes.
Yes, like, that is so cool. So how has your perspective just on life in general changed from literally almost losing your life in that moment? Like, going into that surgery, you're like, "Oh my gosh, please, God, like, I'm not ready to go yet," to now, like, surviving that and having this incredible God story. How is your perspective just on life different?
Yeah. I would say I literally take each day as a blessing. I wake up and I thank God that I get to wake up another day, that I'm healthy. I get the opportunity to be here at the University of Florida in the role that I'm in. And no matter what challenges I face them as opportunities now rather than challenges. They're opportunities for me to grow as a person, grow in my faith. There's nothing that I don't feel I can handle anymore. I know that God wouldn't be giving it to me if I can't handle it because He gave me one of the toughest battles and I already beat that. So what's to say that none of these other things that have been challenging that I can't beat?
Wow, that's amazing. That is so cool. It's just like such an incredible story. And I'm so thankful to have you on Beam Boldly to share. So amazing. We'll definitely circle back around. Okay, Camager, did you think a year ago today that you would be in this position? Literally, we're going to the national championship. You're on Beam Boldly talking about your faith. Like, did you think a year ago that you'd be in this position?
Not in the slightest. Like, when I tell you that, like, getting this position was so out of left field, and it was kind of just like a spark in my brain that was like, maybe the Lord is calling me to work in UG athletics. I'm like, I don't know. And then it just happened so fast. Like, this time last year, not even a blip in my brain. Like, obviously I wanted to, but the process hadn't started at all. And I was just a freshman getting out of the dorms, moving back home for the summer. And yeah, it was crazy, but the Lord definitely worked in that situation and allowed me to get this position to now be in a position where, like, I can say I'm a nationals manager. Like, that's insane. Me and Peyton both. And I just think it's awesome getting to work with a group of girls where a lot of the girls do have a really strong faith. And it's just awesome to be a part of a group that is going to nationals, having opportunity after opportunity, and just coming off of a huge regional and coming out of that with Peyton. Actually, we both made it out of the same regional and just relying on the Lord to take me where I'm supposed to be. And honestly, throughout this position, there have been a lot of ups and a lot of downs. I mean, just quite honestly, it is really tough to do what we do. And there's just moments where, like, maybe I have lost myself mentally just because we're always so busy and there's a lot of stuff going on, but, like, relying on the Lord takes you out of all of that. Like, the Lord allowed me to get myself back and, like, just be me. Like, I went to my parents, I went to my good friends, and I'm like, I feel like I've honestly lost myself. I'm being consumed by, like, not sleeping enough just because I have homework and all those things. And then now bouncing back and being able to say, like, the Lord has taken us to nationals and I get to go be a part of this team at nationals. It's just crazy. So the story of my past year has just been amazing. And it's all glory to God for everything that I've been given and everything that I'll be given in the future. So it's so fun.
Yeah. I think just the thought of you, like, not even really thinking that this was, like, your next step, really, like, it was, like you said, kind of from left field. You're like, "Oh, maybe I just have this idea." Even for you, Peyton, being like, "I don't even know if there's really an opportunity, but I'm just gonna reach out and see." Like, looking at that and then looking at the positions that you guys are in now is literally just a testament to, like, God has placed you in these positions and in this role for a reason, and you guys have both been such lights on this team. Like, Beam Boldly fans know that there have been many Florida gymnasts on here, and I know that even at the SEC championship, we had a, like, worship and Bible study gathering with all the teams, and we included the managers and both of you guys were there. So yes, you may not be contributing flips to our team, but you're contributing so much more and being such lights on these different teams. So it's just really cool how both of you were like, "Oh, I don't even really know, like, what this is. I'm gonna maybe see, how it happens." But you guys have been so impactful and meaningful in the positions that you're in. Okay, so kind of going off of that, I would love to hear from both of you just how your faith has fueled you in this position as a manager.
Yeah, so honestly for me, being a manager, it's an interesting position because, like, I'm a very competitive person and I'm not contributing physically, like you said, the flips or the stick landings and all those things to the scores to the team. But, like, I still feel like I'm a part of the team and I kind of just had to let the Lord, like, tell me, like, you are involved in this, but this is ultimately for other people. Like, we're supposed to be servants and we're called to be servants and to be disciples. And part of my journey in that is being the manager and just the Lord allowing me to like express how I can give and put together all these routines and try my best to keep all of these girls safe and spotting and the whole 9 yards of everything. It's just been incredible. And I thank the Lord every day because I'm like, even though this opportunity might be coming to an end for me, it's like this opportunity has given me so much. Like it's given me an internship, it's given me credit, like it's given me financial benefit, and it's given me so many best friends that like I never want to lose contact with. So it's just so cool to see how the Lord has been able to work through me to benefit other people and just allow us to honestly go to the end. And it's like not even over yet. And I know the best week is still to come. So much more to be thankful for than even just this past year. But yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah, I think in that specifically, it's really cool how you talked about that not only are you serving others, but like you're being fulfilled and
Yes.
being rewarded in that too. And that's exactly how the Lord works, right?
Yes,
So
I've
I just
gotten
think
so
that's
much
really
out of
cool.
this experience and it's just been awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Peyton, I would love to hear how your faith has fueled you in your position as manager.
Yeah, very similar to Cam. I like to use like the God's filling my cup so I can fill other people's. And I feel like that's exactly how this position is. It's like, yes, we're getting so many benefits from this position. I not only get to be like a servant to others, the financial help, and all the help and resources that I've been receiving, whether it's like academic tutors or any of that, but I get to use my own ability to serve these athletes not only as a manager, but also as a disciple, seeing how much the Lord has put onto my heart to go and help these other girls grow closer in their faith and having them come back to me and just thank me for helping lead them on that journey. That's so fulfilling because I know that the Lord took me out of gymnastics for a reason and also gave me this opportunity for a reason. And for a little while, I was searching for like, why was I placed in this position? What am I going to be useful for? And then I saw how much our role truly is a serving role and it gets to show and exemplify like how great the Lord is. We can be a little light for the Lord, and that's all that we ask for as disciples of the Lord. So getting to go and do a role that not many people get to go and do, that's already a blessing from the Lord, and then getting to use my role to also fulfill things that the Lord wants us to do, like being disciples. I think that's extremely important as well.
Yeah, I love that. And it just shows that the Lord literally puts you in rooms and spaces that He wants you in for His glory and for you guys to be lights. And like you said, Peyton, like I know you've been a big part in Joss's faith. I'm good friends with her, and Kayla's been on the podcast. I know you've been a big part in her faith too. So I think that's really cool. And a lot of times people wouldn't see that from the outside. You know, they would just think it was kind of a teammate to teammate thing, which of course is amazing, but it does show that your role matters even if you're not doing the flips, and you can still shine Jesus's light literally wherever you are and whatever you're doing. So that is so good, and I just loved hearing that from both of you guys. How do you think your faith has grown since being in this position as manager?
I would say for me, honestly, I had never been a part of like a rigorous schedule like college athletics has to offer. So it was just something new for me. And I had never been a part of anything similar athletically or as competitive or as like meaningful as this group. So
Hold on, pause 1 second. I totally think we need to clarify to everybody that you guys both are literally on the exact same schedule that us as student athletes are
yes.
on. Like, Cam gets to the gym at 7:30, which is even earlier than some of the girls, to get the water bottles, and I don't even know what else do you even do before
Chalk
practice? I
buckets,
don't know, he's
water
got, like, a whole
bottles.
list of things.
Yeah.
Like, and he stays all the way through practice, every travel, like, I mean, both of you guys, you have the same travel schedule. Sometimes I know even you, like, traveled even earlier than the team, right, to SECs?
Yes.
Didn't you, Peyton? So, yeah, that's, like, taking even more time. So I feel like we just need to clarify to the audience that, like, okay, maybe physically you're not doing gymnastics, but, like, it is just as time consuming as, like, gymnastics is being a student athlete. Anyways, that just needs to be
Yes.
said so that everyone has an understanding of that. But Cam, sorry I cut you off.
No, you're good. I think, like, nobody can prepare you for a schedule like this. Like, it's so fulfilling, but it is a lot. Like, it just is. I mean, how else are you gonna be as elite as these teams are? And the only person that could prepare me for what I was going into was the Lord. Like, genuinely, like, I've learned to lean on the Lord a lot more than I have in the past just because a lot of what I do is serving now. And I just think it's so important that every day, like, if I don't get as much sleep as I wanted to get, or if I didn't get to do this with my friends because of my job, it's just like the Lord has blessed me with this position. Like, if I have to miss out on a dinner, that's okay because the opportunities and the doors that He has opened for me exceed all of my expectations. And it's just so cool to see what the Lord has done. And I think my faith has grown exponentially, and I hope that never stops. And even though that I am leaving the team, I hope that our relationships are able to stay firm and that my relationship with the Lord is even able to continue to grow. And I think it will, just because of all the lessons I've learned and everything that I've learned about myself and relationships with other people. So I would say that I believe that my faith has grown exponentially, and it's honestly taught me more effective communication too, just because of the different types of people that I communicate with and different departments that I coordinate with and everything. So I think it is just a true testament to you never know what's coming your way, God's plan over my plan. And it's just so cool to see how He uses His plan in more ways than you could even have thought that He would use you for His plan.
So true. That's awesome. And Peyton?
Cam, that was great. Yeah, I would say that my faith has grown significantly in this role. Being a manager isn't always the easiest, as Cam knows. We are faced with a lot of challenges as well. A lot of our job is done behind the scenes. So I feel like God used a little bit of those moments and working with different people to kind of teach me some lessons that like I was still struggling with, whether it was patience or working on my communication or how to effectively communicate with different types of people. We did a little thing with our team that was like understanding each person's type of communication. And I feel like that helped me grow significantly in my faith because I was very me and like trying, but without the Lord, like you can't effectively communicate in so many different roles. And with a lot of our job being behind the scenes, it's not glorious and you don't always get the praise for it. So just understanding that the Lord has put you in this position and understanding that we're not doing this for anybody else. We're doing this solely for the Lord, and the Lord's not judging us. And it's not the good deeds that we're doing that's going to earn us a spot in heaven. I feel like that was a big lesson I learned. I need to stop trying to do everything up front and be thankful for these little things I get to do behind the scenes for each and every athlete and think of those as a blessing because that's growing my relationship with God. And that's all I can ask for is all of these things that I'm learning in my manager role are growing me closer to God rather than growing me in connection with anybody else. And thankfully, along the way, I made so many best friends out of it, so many memories. I've gained so many things, so many opportunities. I feel like God has continually opened the door for me because I've given my life up to Him. I've fully handed it all over in this role and said, like, God, whatever you have in store for me, here, like, just take over. These days aren't always easy, but He's continued to bless me each and every day. And it's something I look forward to waking up and getting to do every day. It doesn't feel like a job. It feels like a blessing. I wake up and I'm like, yes, I get to go to the gym today. And especially knowing that like my days with Gators Gymnastics are coming to an end soon, I've just realized how much my faith has grown in that space. And I just want to continue to thank God for all of those opportunities.
That was great, Peyton. And kind of going along with what I had said previously and what Peyton kind of led into is leaning on the Lord, and something that I've had to learn a lot more. And something that this job has taught me has been to just pray and lean on the Lord. Like at regionals, I was so nervous because I'm so competitive, and I was like we're surrounded by amazing teams, and I know that my team is fully capable of making it out of this regional, but still just the uncertainty. So I was so nervous, and after warm-ups, I was like, I need to get myself together. I need to keep a smile on my face because this is a blessing. So I went and changed into what I call my uniform. It's my polo and my black pants. And I came back out onto the floor, like the fans are in there, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna block that out for a second. Nobody else is out here. We were starting on bars and ending on vault. And I was like, I literally just sat down next to the bars and prayed, like, for the start of the meet, like, keep these athletes safe, whatever your will is. I know it'll be done. And then I went over to the vault and did the same thing, like, please end this meet how you want it to be ended and continue to keep all the athletes safe. So that's just something that I honestly, like, am willing to admit, like, I probably haven't prayed in the past as much as I should have, and I think this job has taught me that prayer is a necessity, and prayer is something that we need in our life to grow in our faith and survive on this earth, to be honest.
So real. And I love that because it shows your humility and your like servant heart that you are willing to like pray for the team and for the athletes, and no, your face is not going to be on the front of the poster, you know, at the end of the day, but your willingness to still like intercede in that way through prayer is like really inspiring. I also like you both touched on the fact that being a manager, you do a lot of behind the scenes. Like you are doing a lot of work. Like I said, you're in the gym the exact same amount of time that the athletes are in the gym, but you don't get the recognition. You know, you're not putting on the sparkly leotard. You know, nobody's chanting 10 for you. And that can be kind of difficult because you're like, wow, I'm a part of this team and I'm doing all this work, but I don't always get the recognition. And so it was inspiring to hear that in both of your stories, you kind of like realized that. And instead of being like, oh, I don't get recognition, like, why am I even doing this? It was like, wait, no, the Lord has put me here to serve these athletes. And no, I'm not going to get the recognition that the world might say that we deserve.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, before the meets, you'll find me praying. Before our first event, I like to pray by myself on the floor, and then Kayla and I also pray each and every meet. And originally we started in the locker room, and that was something that felt great, like doing it behind the scenes. I didn't want people to feel like we were going out there to do it for the wrong reasons or like, but then I realized that like if us praying out in public is helping one person go more into their faith, then like I'm not doing it for myself. Kayla's not doing it for herself. I'm not praying over this meet for me or for my team. I'm doing it for God. And like, if this is bringing one of these 10,000 fans closer in their faith, or it's going to help them pray or something of that sort, that's why I want to do it. And I think that's why I found myself praying more is like, I'm not doing this for me. And I love this team, but I'm not necessarily doing my role for them either. I'm doing
Right.
it to glorify God. And so I think that's a huge thing is like, we're not in this role for ourselves. We're ultimately doing everything that we do. Y'all as athletes or us as managers or coaches as coaches, like we're doing that to glorify the Lord and thank Him for all these opportunities because we wouldn't be in these roles without Him.
Yeah. I love that. And I will say, like, at this past meet at regionals, I actually saw you and Kayla praying, like, out on the floor. And my first thought was like, oh my gosh, they're not shy to do this because it was in like during the intros. So there's like music going, there's lights, like, I don't know. We get excited about watching the other team's intros, right? Like it's a lot going on. And for you guys to pause in that moment of kind of a lot of chaos and lights and distraction and just be like, no, I'm bringing our attention back to the Lord right now, despite all that's going on. I remember thinking like that was super inspiring. So I know if I thought it was inspiring, then there's at least one other person in that arena that thought it was inspiring. But yeah, for both of you, just being able to still serve your team so well, even when you're not getting all the praise, can be kind of hard. But when you have an outlook of, I'm not doing this for my own glory or even the team's glory, I'm doing this for God. Like, I just know that makes your job a lot easier and a lot lighter.
I just want to say, like, it's so cool. Like towards the end of the season, well, before towards the end of the season, I was like, okay, like I wonder how other people in my role like do their job, because I feel like I have a system of like what I do, and I was just like the unknown of like who is behind the other teams, because like I know I'm behind my team, who's behind the other teams. And then eventually I got to meet Peyton at our dual meet, and then I got to meet a lot of the other managers at SECs and other dual meets. And it was so cool just getting to see other people who do my position, and like Peyton, who also has a strong faith. It was just cool to see that there's people out there who are like me, and there's always people that you can talk to. And I mean, even at the end of our regional, me and Peyton ended like jumping around with each other, like, oh my gosh, we made it. So it's more than just a meet for us too. And I think finding a community of managers has been so cool, because like it meant so much to me and Peyton to get out of that regional and make it to nationals. And like we had each other as servants of the Lord, and we have like common interests and common jobs, and we just know a lot about what each other does. So it was just so cool to spend that with another SEC manager who like I knew and I wanted to spend that with.
Yeah. No, I will say for sure. I definitely think this year managers are getting more appreciation, whether it's because Cam is going viral for learning all of our floor routines on the sidelines and going crazy when we stick landings, or whatever the reason is. I definitely feel like you guys are getting more of the appreciation that you deserve. And it's been cool as an athlete to see, especially like at SECs, just to watch you guys have this little like community, because Cam, you're the only manager here. Peyton, how many do you guys have at Florida? Like 2 or 3?
We have 3.
You have 3. So right, it's a really small group when you think day to day. Or Cam, he's by himself, so it can kind of feel like, oh, there's not really many people who are in this position who are serving like me and who get as excited about gymnastics as I do, even though I'm not actually doing the flips. And so it's been really sweet to see you guys come together and create kind of a manager community. And I think that's totally the Lord working to connect all of you guys, because normally you would not have met, managers from totally different schools in different states and whatnot.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you don't mind me touching on that as well, that was exactly what was lingering on my heart. I would say the manager community this year especially has been something so special. It was something I prayed about a lot over the past couple of years, and we like kind of had some things going, but this year it just seemed like the Lord was so intentional with it. Each and every like SEC school, I'm seeing like each time everybody would go to a dual meet, like the managers were connecting, whether that was just like talking or taking photos or whatever, and kind of helping each other. And then the meetup at SCCs where we even just hung out in the hotel room, like all of us, getting to hear about the differences between each of our jobs and kind of seeing how our faith ties into each and every one of us. That was so special. And then obviously getting to go to regionals with Cam, that was such a blessing. After SECs, I prayed, I was like, please place one of these teams with us just to help me grow in my faith. Maybe give us an opportunity to have another Bible study like we had at SECs, or just somebody that understands like what I'm going through. I have my 2 managers here, but in the past that was it. And we didn't know what other schools were like. So getting to hear like how Cam does it by himself each and every day and what his differences are compared to ours, and getting to grow together in the gymnastics world, but also having somebody that I can grow with in the faith world as well. That's been such a blessing. And I'm so excited to see how this little manager community continues to grow as years go on.
Yeah, I love that. It's been really cool to see from the outside too, for sure. All right, you guys, this has been such an awesome episode. Such cool perspectives hearing from both of you. But I would love to close just by asking you both what your final piece of advice is to someone who's struggling to bring their faith into their everyday lives.
I would say never compromise yourself for other people, because in my personal experience, there's currently an instance where like something is going viral, like over 26 million views. That's awesome. Like that's great and I love it. But at the same time, it's like I have to remember not to change myself. Yes, I went viral, but I'm me for me. I'm not me for views. So like I am here for the Lord. I'm not here for the Instagram views. So while it's awesome, my advice to anybody is to just be your authentic self and the person that the Lord has made you to be, and celebrate with your team. Do whatever that looks like, or as an athlete, celebrate with your teammates. And don't let things like views or other things change who you are in your relationship with the Lord, because compromising yourself for those things ultimately will just pull you farther away from the Lord. And the Lord wants you to draw near every single day, in and out. So I would just say, never compromise yourself for other people, and your relationship with the Lord should always come first over all the other things.
I love that. So good. So good. Peyton?
Yeah, I would say don't compromise your faith for other things. Like, we got to remember our priorities, and faith isn't something that has to be like a sit down scheduled time each and every day with the Lord. It could be like little things, like having a conversation with the Lord while you're walking to class. If you have a really busy schedule, or inviting the Lord into practice, whether that's praying before practice starts or having a conversation with Him on an event, like if Cam's working an event or if I'm working an event and we're really struggling that day, just having that conversation with the Lord. It's not a mandatory, like, set in stone time each day or a designated time you have to spend. You can invite Him into any aspect of your life at any moment. So I think that's been very helpful, finding times throughout the day, whether that's not sacrificing, but waking up 15 minutes earlier, or 30 minutes earlier, or doing 15 minutes later at night, or having to not do a social event of a sort each night. That way you can make sure that you're prioritizing that faith. I think that's extremely important. And building off of what Cam said as well, don't lose yourself in that. Be authentic to yourself. The Lord made us perfect in His image, and we need to remain authentic to ourselves and truly just hone in and embrace exactly who we are and honor the Lord in each and every moment we can.
Yeah. So good. You guys, Peyton and Cam, thank you so much for coming on Beam Boldly. Thank you for your time. Thank you for just sharing your stories. Thank you for all of the serving that you do for these teams every single day. Shout out to any other manager who is listening to this. I just want you guys to know, from an athlete's perspective, we appreciate you guys so much. And Peyton and Cam, it has been an honor to have you on Beam Boldly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brooke.
Love you, Brooke.
Love you guys so much. And thank you guys for listening to this episode of Beam Boldly. Make sure that you follow and subscribe, and follow Peyton and Cam on social media so you can keep up with what they're doing and with their faiths. But yeah, make sure that you follow and subscribe so that you can continue on this journey with me. Bye, you guys.